All right, everybody, welcome to Higa's Playbook, the show that talks about sports, dating, and all things life as a Seattle girl living in the Bay. This is episode 11, I think, right? This is episode 11. This is crazy. So today we're going to talk about week 18, the Seahawks versus the Cardinals, what went well, what didn't go so well, and how our season has come to an end. Sadly enough to say. I'm feeling a little bit out of it, which is kind of crazy. It's funny that I'm wearing this shirt. Today I will let you know. Today I'm feeling a little bit sad, a little bit down, a little anxious. I don't know if it's because of Seattle football in general or because I had this like really upsetting dream, but there's a lot going on. But shout out to Tori Kirihara. She makes these shirts, so if you want one, hit her up. Or don't do it. Don't hit her up. Just buy one from her. All right, y'all. So let's talk week 18, final week of regular season. The Seahawks play the Cardinals. Like I said last week, going into that stadium is never really a good feeling ever. One, we lost in the Super Bowl in that stadium. Two, I think we've had a lot of injuries for a lot of our players in the past in that stadium as well. So we all say that stadium is cursed. So going in there is always a little nerve-wracking, and it's always a challenge for us in general. Although we did end up winning, it was 20-21, another stressful fourth quarter nail-biting game per usual. Seahawks did that to us all season long. But yeah, although we did win, we were just a little bit short of playoffs because the Bears needed to beat the Packers, but the Packers won. So we were out. Just like that. But let's just go over some of the numbers from the game. They weren't great. They weren't great at all. Gino was 16 for 28. He had 189 yards with 2 touchdowns. Walker was our leading rusher with 17 carries for 78 yards. Lockett, 2 receptions, 71 yards, 1 touchdown. When you look at the overall team numbers and the time of possession, it's not great. It's not great at all. Total yards, 327. 189 were passing, 138 were rushing, and our time of possession was 23 minutes and 57 seconds. That's like no time at all. Our defense loved being on the field. But yeah, let's just go into our defense. I think it's the same thing every single show, every single episode. Our defense is still not making plays. They're not stopping the run. They're just not making plays. And I don't know what adjustments we need to make for next year, but something needs to happen. Something needs to change because for us to give up the amount of points that we did in the entire season was ridiculous. And we're never going to win games like that. Because what's that saying? Defense wins championships. So obviously we're not even going to get close to a championship this year. So something needs to change. This offseason will be interesting. Obviously something needs to change, like I just said. Is it the coaching staff? I don't know. It's like whoever the play calls at the beginning of the season were not the greatest. I think we adjusted to that towards the end of the season, which was great. But our defense, I don't know. It seems like that we have a really, really young team, and it shows on the field. It shows how they present themselves on the field, how they react on the field to, maybe some extracurriculars, maybe some people talking shit to them, but that definitely shows somebody's maturity level. I think in the last game, Bush was getting a little excited about a hit that he had, and Bobby had to go up to him, grab his helmet. Pretty much, obviously don't know the words that were exchanged, but Bobby had to just tell him to shut the fuck up. And it's just, I think we forget that this is a business, and we forget that it's treated like a business, right? The amount of money that you have to pay your players, as these players become veterans and they're in the league longer, they're worth more money. So we're going to spend our money on younger guys because they're cheaper in a sense. And the team right now doesn't really seem like a Seattle team. There's a lot of disconnect. There's a lot of individual players acting like individual players on a team sport. And I think that is what is really hurting us in the long run, is that they're not thinking of this game as a team sport. They're thinking of it as an individual sport. And that is definitely what is hurting us. There's just no cohesiveness. I think I'm so used to Pete Carroll football and everybody taking responsibility for each other and keeping each other in check. throughout the season to make this team better that I just am not seeing it on the field. I mean, maybe, I don't know, maybe whatever they're talking about in the locker room, I have no idea, but it's not translating onto the field, which we need to see. It'll be an interesting offseason. I hope that, I know whether Pete is our head coach next season or not, whether, who knows what's going to happen, but something definitely needs to change. I feel like this is probably one of the worst seasons that we've had in the last, like, I don't know, almost 15 years in Seahawks history. Yeah, I'm a little sad, but it was funny. I was having a conversation with my dad about the game, and he said it himself. We won games we shouldn't have won. We lost games we should have won. Do we deserve to be in the playoffs? I don't think so. I think other teams have proved themselves this season, and they definitely deserve to be in the playoffs. So although this season wasn't the greatest, I think the Seahawks are learning a lot, and I hope that they take all the L's that we took this last season and learn from them. And so hopefully this next season coming up, we can make some changes and look better out there because we are better. So shout out to the Seahawks. Great season. I posted that on my Instagram story and I got so many responses saying it wasn't a good season. But in my opinion, I feel like there was some good, there was some bad, but it is very disappointing. But just remember, it's just a game and life goes on. But it is sad and disappointing. All right, everybody, let's go into everybody's favorite segment of this episode or of this show, Best Dressed. There's a couple. Seahawks Instagram, you didn't give me a lot to work with this season or this last game. But there was a few that caught my eye. Geno Smith was coming out just wearing a nice black suit, very simple, very clean, and his hair was braided again, which I like. I think that look is looking for you. That look is looking for you, Geno. Also, Leonard Williams came out wearing an orange sweater, which orange is my favorite color, so I might be a little bit biased towards that, and he has great hair. Also, Michael Dixon came out wearing a black and white sweater and a Seattle Mariners hat, which I appreciate. Go Mariners. So yeah, but I will give the award to Geno. I always love a suit. I always love it when they're looking clean. So shout out to Geno. Week 18, Best Dressed. Round of applause. All right. Other things that happened this weekend too, fantasy football. I am very proud of myself in my fantasy football league at work. It did go to week 18, which it normally doesn't do that. We had playoffs. First round was 2 weeks. Second round for the championship was 2 weeks, which was very interesting. But I am very proud of myself because I went from like second to last to being in the championship against Clarence, one of my really good friends at work. He was crushing people all season long. He had Christian McCaffrey. And he had Dak Prescott. Like, his team was stacked, and he was literally scoring over 170 points every single week. I think because we did go to week 18 and because, week 18, not a lot of teams actually play their starters, I got a little bit. I should have won, honestly. I only lost by like 20 points, maybe a little bit more, but because of that. The reason was because I had Jalen Hurts, and I don't know if Jalen Hurts hurt his finger, but I saw a picture and his finger was bent the opposite direction it should be. So pretty sure Jalen Hurts scored me 0.2 points. I was trying to win, and I was messaging people on Slack at work, asking if they wanted to trade anybody or just give anybody up for me to beat Clarence. And apparently that's cheating. Nobody in our league said we couldn't do that, but I didn't do it because then I was like, all right, watch my guys go off that I actually was going to play. And, I was in my head. I didn't do it. So I got second place fair and square, but I am very happy with the second place. So shout out to Clarence. Nice job, champion. But I wasn't cheating. I was just doing some research, okay? Lots more football in Seattle was going on. The University of Washington Huskies made it to the national championship. First time in 31 years. It was crazy. And the last time they played them was actually Michigan too in the national championship. Crazy. So the game was in Houston. It just wasn't a good weekend for Seattle football. I mean, the Seahawks won, but it didn't feel like a win, honestly. Penix looked a little nervous, the quarterback. He just was not playing himself. He was overthrowing the ball. He just was not himself, and that was not the Michael Penix Jr. that we've seen all season long. So it was a really tough game to watch. The first quarter, they gave up 2 touchdowns, and yes, Michigan's running backs are quick. Their jabs, their change of direction, they're just so quick. It's wild to watch, but I don't know. UW's defense was looking like a traditional Seattle defense that we've been seeing all season long. And I was texting KJ during the game and I'm like, are you watching this game? Is this defense looking familiar to you? Like, why are we missing tackles? Why are we not stopping the run? Like, it was your traditional Seattle defense. And I hate saying that, but is it something in the water? I don't know. Tap water in Seattle is really good, but maybe they need to filter it for these athletes because they'd be playing the same. But UW came up short. And, I think especially we got to remember that these are kids. They're 18 to 21 years old. And it's a lot of pressure. I don't think UW is used to playing on that big of a stage, whereas you got teams like in the SEC and the Big Ten that are used to playing in crowds that are bigger than actual NFL stadiums. I don't know. So it'll be interesting once the Pac-12 and the Big Ten and all these other schools merge with each other and how these schools do next season. So I'm kind of sad. I'm sad. The Pac-12 was just starting to become a really good conference, and it's just a little disappointing to see it come to an end. So yeah, I don't know. Football season for Seattle has come to an end, but that doesn't mean it's over for everybody. We still got postseason for the NFL. Baltimore and San Francisco have first round byes. And this week, this is who is going against each other. So the first round of the wild card, we got Cleveland versus Houston. It's kind of crazy that Cleveland is actually doing well this year. But I think I'm actually going to go with Cleveland. So we're going to go with Cleveland. And then we also have Miami versus Kansas City. What is going on with Kansas City? I have no idea. But we're going to go with Miami. And then we got Pittsburgh and Buffalo. I'm going to go with Buffalo. No particular reason. Just because, I don't know, maybe because I'm just a little sour and bitter that the Steelers beat us last week. And then we're going to go, next is Philly and Tampa. I don't know. The Eagles are not looking good. And depending on what Jalen Hurts' finger was doing, that'll kind of determine. I'm actually going to go with Tampa. Let's go Bucks. Okay. Ooh, Rams versus Lions. The Rams killed us this entire season, and I'm going to go with Rams. All right. And then last but not least, these two teams, I just don't want to decide between any of these two, Green Bay and Cowboys. Jonathan, who do you want to win? I'm not going to choose. Oh, you're going with Green Bay. Okay. Jonathan's choosing Green Bay, and I'll just go with him. Although the Seahawks season is over, that doesn't mean we are over. We're going to continue Higa's Playbook. We're going to talk a little bit more about football, but we're going to talk about dating. We'll talk about life. I don't know. I think people are very interested into dating. Dating is a very interesting topic. It's a very large topic of discussion every single time you have gatherings with people, whether it's with family, whether it's with friends. So we'll talk about dating. We'll still talk about football until the football season is over. Obviously, off season, whatever's happening with the Seahawks, we'll continue to talk about that. We'll have guests on the show. We'll have random people in San Francisco that I find interesting, that have great, just life advice. I love talking to people. And I think one thing that I've loved to do since moving here is just conversating with random people. Just talking to people, learning their stories, and just life is great when you talk to people and you meet people because you just never know who you're going to meet. So stay tuned for more fun episodes of Higa's Playbook. Football season is not over. We will continue that. But until then, stay warm, everybody. I saw it's going to be really cold in different parts of the country, but San Francisco is looking pretty sunny. Anyways, thank you for listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share with your family and your friends. My name is Alex. Love ya. Bye.